A good practice when you're flying a new aircraft for the first time is to establish straight and level flight, and then to practice a few complete turns while keeping the plane at a fixed altitude. Here you can see the relatively simple controls of the A5 with a Garmin navigation and avionics display in the center. We're overlooking the Croton Reservoir here, just over Yorktown Heights. Those two bridges are the Taconic State Parkway, then Route 129 and Croton Gorge Park. That's Chris Buchholz to my right, demonstrating the plane for me. That peninsula is Stony Point Park, and you can see Beach Road there winding through Haverstraw on the west bank of the Hudson. That's me at the controls. The A5 is flown with a simple stick control. We're at just 1,800 feet now, going about 65 miles an hour toward Verplank. Chris is now slowing the plane down for a water landing just off George's Island Park. Landing the A5 is pretty simple. You keep that center control there, the angle of attack or AOA indicator, in the green, and pull back on the power. You feel a gentle descent until you're just above the water, or the runway. It works the same on land or water. Now we're about 25 feet above the water, and Chris pulls slightly back on the stick to put the AOA on the white line between the green and the yellow, and he holds it there until we touch down. From here, the plane performs just like a jet ski. So Chris just kicks the rudder left to skid us to a perfect stop. And we pop open the plexiglass cockpit canopy and feel the fresh riverside air.
Hi, this is George Abjarakis, and I'm doing your cockpit mini review of the Icon A5 Amphibious airplane, two-seater here with Chris. The control panel is very delicate, very responsive, makes flying really a pleasure, much different than flying the Cessna 180 or 172. Very little hand input needed. Plane basically flies itself, trims very nicely, and the stick control, much more like a fighter with the cockpit canopy, so much view that you can see everywhere around you. Hardly the sense of motion until you get down close to the water. The stick allows you to just kind of gently move things left and right. You have no need to look down hardly. The instrument panel is very simple. Basically only three things you have to look at, and most of the time you can keep your eyes outside the cockpit looking around. Very little necessity of feeding input to the controls all the time. Really like this airplane. Really like to own one.
Takeoff from water is as easy as from land. As you get to takeoff speed, the water becomes super slick, and breaking free of the surface is effortless. Even with little airspeed and just 25 feet above the water, Chris can peel off a tight left-hand turn. As long as the AOA is in the yellow zone, the A5 will be highly resistant to a stall or spin, and you can get the excitement of performing like a fighter jet, even though you're going a lot slower. The GPS shows we are turning out on a southern direction past Conyers and back to the Millionaire Terminal at Westchester Airport for our morning coffee. What a nice way to spend a sunny morning in the air, north of New York City.